Good morning, everyone. I gotta tell you, I am super excited. We headed up the hill from Carrera and we have made it almost up to the marble mines, and this has been a fascinating ride up to the town. You can look up and see the mountainside. All of a sudden it goes from green and lush to just white from the marble, and you can even see here the river is lined with marble. And this right here, sort of at the base of the mountain, is just where some of the marble mine workers over the years have just carved these little statues. And so it's kind of these aren't for sale, but as you come up through the road, you can see all sorts of processing plants. You can see where they're cutting it into blocks for the sculptures. There's sculpture pieces for sale. Also, there's marble slabs for floors and for wall facings. We even went through some parking lots and saw some curbs made from marble. So this is the famous Carrera marble. And I gotta tell you, that this is the place where even Michelangelo used to come to get the marble for his famous stones. So if you think about David, Michelangelo's David, it came from right here on the side of this mountain. So we're gonna check out these statues and then we're gonna head up to the hill. We're gonna try to get a look at the marble mines. Now it's a little bit rainy and overcast today, so hopefully the weather clears. But there's also a little town up on top of the hill that's difficult to get to that has a very specialized regional product that I'm excited to try. And if you like bacon, you're gonna wanna hear about this. So come on guys, let's go explore these awesome marble mines.
The nose is chipped off, but he's got the best facial features. And I think this guy is practicing his noses.
He's got the pointed up nose.
Yeah, he's got all different noses.
It's like a marble totem pole.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating. This is where you come to practice and see if you're a sculptor or not. Alright. Ready to head up to this little town, see if our van can get there or not?
Well, I did see a bunch of haul trucks going up, and here comes an RV down.
2 of them. 3 of them.
All right, let's go.
We can make it. So we've made it up maybe a half a mile from the little town we're headed to, and we saw a nice big parking lot on the side of the road where the other motorhomes were parked. So we're gonna park here and walk up the hill. Now at the top of this hill is this town. It's the mining town, and it's got a cool culinary dish, which we're not gonna tell you about till we get up there, right, Curtie? But Curt is stoked, and its history is Curt's giving you hints, but its history has a lot to do with the mining up here. So let's go check it out.
All right, we can see the marble mines on our way, whole drive up here. Absolutely fascinating. But down there is our van, our house, half-mile walk up to the city.
Uphill.
But it is steep, and it is switchbacky, and it is narrow. But
we're going.
I think I can. All right, I have a confession to make. We have not been as active in the last month or two as we were in South America. And we've got all sorts of excuses. Mostly it's been winter time, rainy and cold. And so at our age, if you don't use it, you lose it.
True.
So this is a steep climb. It may not seem like much, but especially with Snow's heart condition, you know, we got to slowly work our way back up to fitness. And so
and
this
it's starting to rain.
starting to rain. So this is a good exercise. And unfortunately, she got wind of this parking sign up here towards the top. And so...
No, we still did the right thing. The easy parking for our van was down at the bottom. And the walk up's good for us. It's just got us both breathing hard and taking breaks. But I can see town, so let's go.
Wow, look at this. As we get up here into town, you can definitely see the marble. So here's the parking up here. You can see it's kind of skinny. There's basically space for 2 vans up here, but it is very steep. So
we did the right thing.
We did the right thing. Down where we're parked, there's a nice area where we can get the cats out, especially later once the haul trucks stop running. We made it to the Lardoria Cafe. This is the place we planned for our culinary delight for today. Tell you about it when we get in here. All right, bad news. We did not make a reservation, and he just said they are completo, meaning they do not have a spot. So we're gonna walk up through this town. Look at this place. We're gonna walk up and see maybe if one of these other restaurants doesn't have a space for us. And look, we walked into the center of town, and the whole entire plaza is marble. All right, we did find a place that's open. It's a little cafe. As we come in, you can see all the little marble trinkets. Look at this, guys. All right, we're up in the small mining town of Colannata, and all around this is the marble mines. But that's not the only reason we came here. We kind of saw something on the Google Maps called Lardo. So I saw Lard Rock Cafe, Lardo area, lard markets, everything, kind of all the restaurants were Lardo themed. So I Google searched it, and it turns out Lardo is kind of a form of bacon, if you will. But hopefully we can go over to a Lardoria where they make it so we can learn more about it. We're also going to try to learn about it by tasting. So I don't know everything about Lardo other than I know I like bacon, I know I like piggy, so we came out here to try some. In this particular area, they made Lardo rather than bacon or prosciutto for the miners here in the marble mines. So this dates way back to centuries, and it's specific to this area. So we got some food coming. Let's try and see what this stuff's all about. It's a little 1912 local beer, non-filtered, from right up here. So should be interesting. And a little non-filtered
water for me.
Water al naturel for me lady.
Kurt's gonna have a little too, but mainly for me. How is it?
It's good. It's like full-bodied. It's not too strong. It's a blonde, and I don't like it too hoppy. So for me, this is a delicious beer.
Grazie.
Vermouth, mojito, birra. Questo classico.
Okay, glad. All right, the first thing we ordered is the starter kit of Lardo. And if you guys look at this Lardo, you can tell it is mostly fat with just a little tiny strip of meat on it. It's supposed to be aged very specially here in marble vats.
Oh,
and
more.
It's also sliced razor thin.
Oh.
And then another starter. This is some kind of polenta, I believe, an eggplant remoulade, some crostinis with some tomatoes, and I don't know what the other stuff is, but we got a variety of different tastes.
Let's go.
Wow.
So what I think is happening on this plate is we have different flavors of lardo. Now from the research we did, this stuff absorbs flavors like crazy. So as we eat these, we'll try to tell you what we're eating. You going first, Curt?
I'll definitely try some of this. This one here is supposed to be the classico. This ought to be interesting. I'm gonna get some bread just in case. I can tell you, it is
Lard.
lard.
Is it cold?
It's room temperature. The fat is very buttery and subtle, and the little hit of meat on there is chewy, but the stuff actually melts in your mouth, and there's definitely a hint of salt and rosemary. That's a classico, and it's actually pretty good.
I have no idea what flavor I just got, but it's got a little dollop of some sort of sauce on it. Here we go. It just goes away. You could eat too much of this. I think it's something you only want to eat a few bites of. I have no idea what flavor that was, but it was good. What are they? We don't know.
I don't know if this is the polenta cake or if this is like a flan, but it's a fried little bit.
It's good.
I thought you'd like this.
I don't know what it is, but I don't know if it's the polenta or the flan or what. It's fried, probably in the lardo, and it is very savory, and it's better than French fries.
It's like smooth and creamy.
Oh, it's so good.
So I can tell you, for me, if you just eat the slice by itself, it's a bit much. But when you put it on crostini, it's like a butter, almost cheese, buttery cheese that just melts into the bread. And one of these has a little bit more of a sweet, dulce flavor than the first one that I tried, which was more like a salt rosemary. Lardo.
That's how you eat it, on the bread. All right, we're digging in.
All right, for the record, we did not eat all that lardo, but the sampler platter was absolutely delicious. But after that lardo, we did feel like we needed like a salad.
We also have a little ravioli coming to kind of top off our whole meal, so we're full. And Curt is on his second beer.
But this lardo will go back to the van because I eat breakfast potatoes in the morning. And I can tell you that melted down in a skillet is going to make those potatoes off the charts.
It smells so good in the morning too. But we're putting some vegetables on top of all that fat.
Well, I do have to say that, in my opinion, was probably the most unique culinary experience we have been on in our 4 or 5 years traveling the world in the van. And I wouldn't necessarily describe it as the most delicious,
No.
but unique.
Unique, and it wasn't bad by any means. Very flavorful, but you just really only need a piece or two of that. Just like if you're putting butter on a potato or on a piece of bread, you just want to smear one little piece on there. But what was really cool is, as we were leaving, Galileo, whose dad apparently owns that and the Lardoria across the street, said that he would give us a tour of their laboratory area. Now, I think he saw us doing all the videoing and heard about our YouTube channel, and it might have been a little bit of a special tour that not everybody gets to do. But he took us in. The first thing we had to do was put these little surgical looking booties on our feet to protect that. And then we went down some stairs and we saw, of course, where they prepped everything and cut everything. Very clean, surgical looking kitchen area where they slice everything up. But then we went down some more stairs and we went into a room where we had to duck and go under, and there were a lot of small boxes made of marble. and they had different numbers or names on them. And this room, the first room, was the special recipe lardo, where they make it specifically for certain restaurants in Rome or Florence or around the world. So that restaurant would have their very own box, their very own secret spice recipe, and it all gets aged at different times. So that was the first room.
And a lot of those boxes were handmade boxes, some of them dating all the way back to 1700s.
Yeah.
I mean.
And the marble boxes were made from marble, you know, that was mined right here. And some of that stuff had been aging for 3 years already. So, but then we went into the second room, which was much bigger, with much bigger boxes, and that was the production room, where they make the lardo to sell. And then in there they had drying racks in the back where we see all different cuts and everything.
They had some for the cheeks that was made for like carbonara, some from the rib.
It was just really, really cool. He let us smell some of the herb mixtures. He would not tell us those mixtures. Of course, we knew some rosemary and some other stuff was in there. But really a special, cool little behind the scenes tour we just got of Lardo. And he did tell us that this is the main area in all of Italy, Europe, or whatever that they make lardo. Now there are a few places that have popped up here and there, but this is the famous place that has made it since way back in Roman times.
Some of these lardo recipes come all the way back to Roman days.
And the lardo was made because the good portion of the meat was cut off and sent away, but they needed to feed all of these marble miners. So they saved that behind and figured out a way to turn it into something that could go up into the mines and not go bad, and kind of give some food to the miners here. So that's how it developed, but it definitely turned into a delicacy. And it was a really cool experience, and it's time to walk a mile down this road to the van before we get caught in the rain. You got anything else, Curt?
I would just say that this is one of the delights of traveling in a van. I know this is probably not on everybody's bucket list and would be kind of something that'd be hard to get off the beaten path and do, but it's one of those special things with a special story that just really makes our traveling unique.
People too.
And how cool was Galileo?
Galileo! Such an amazing
Galileo!
name, yes. So yeah, that was his dad's business.
Thank you, Galileo. We appreciate it. Your English is awesome.
He said his dad had been doing this since the 60s.
60s.
So quite a while.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Face. Well, I'm pretty excited today because, well, we had the lardo yesterday and we could not eat all of that. It was rich, it was good, it was unique, but we did bring some extra home. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a breakfast guy, and most of the time I don't bring you along for breakfast. But this morning I'm going to use some of the lardo from yesterday to cook my breakfast potatoes. So here's the leftover lardo. Now I think this is quite a lot. It's compressed some over last night. But we'll put this in here. Start off with a little bit. Turn the stove on. Now we have an induction cooktop, so I'm going to put that on 6, and let's see how this lardo renders down. Alright, here we go. I season it up a little bit. I use a little garlic powder, a little thyme, and a little pepper. And this is going to be yummy right here. Now I'm going to cover this up and let those potatoes steam for a while, maybe like about 5 minutes. I'll let them crisp up on the bottom, take the top off, flip them around, and it won't take long until we have some yummy potatoes. Alright guys, there it is right there. Breakfast potatoes cooked in lardo with 2 over easy eggs. I'm gonna get my day started off right. I will tell you, my lardo potatoes were excellent this morning with my breakfast and my eggs. Breakfast of champions. Don't judge, guys. It's what I do. Anyway, it rained a lot last night, all night last night, even this morning. It just now kind of stopped. But you can see sort of the milky water coming down the river. That's from the marble up the mountains. It comes down, all the marble dust is white. You can even see it on some of the cars from the roads and stuff. Now, we're gonna try to get up and see this marble quarry. I've been to quarries all over in the United States as part of my job. Back in my previous life, I visited gravel quarries, lime rock quarries, granite quarries, all kinds of quarries. I've never, ever visited a marble quarry. So if you're wondering why these marble mines are so fascinating to me, that is one of the reasons. Amongst another is the popularity of this Italian marble all over the world, and specifically in some of the famous statues and works of art that we all have heard about. So anyway, we're gonna go down here. We don't have a tour officially scheduled, so we're gonna go down the mountain, see if some kind of way we can magically work our way into one of these quarries to get a tour. If not, hopefully we'll be able to tell you a little bit about them.
We found the tour guides on the side of the road, but unfortunately there was no room for us on the tour today. It is the off season here, and they are only running 2 trucks, which were both already full. So we will do our best to share with you a few things we learned about the mines while we were here. First, from a distance as we were driving in, the Apuan Alps in this region look snow-capped, but that is actually the white marble. The Carrara Marble Basin is some of the most sought-after marble in the world. According to UNESCO, this marble has been used since the Roman Empire for buildings and sculptures. It is a $1 billion industry that employs over 1,000 people from the local area. And yes, even today, the miners still eat lardo throughout the day. The area is home to over 30 active mines, which leads to the question, will the Carrara marble mines run out of marble? Well, the Italian government actually regulates how much marble can be mined from this area per year. With those regulations, it is predicted that the mine will not run out of marble for at least 400 years. Without those regulations, full-blown mining in these 30-plus mines would likely deplete the marble within 200 years. Now, what makes this marble so special? Well, the marble in China and Greece has very big crystals, which makes it too hard. The marble from Turkey has very small crystals, which makes it too fragile. But the Carrara marble is the perfect balance and is coveted around the world. In the mines, they cut the marble into large slabs and then transport it down the mountain to the port of Carrara, where it can be shipped around the world. It takes 4 days to cut 1 slab of marble, and then a full day just to drive that 20 to 35 ton slab of marble down the curvy mountain road to the port. Now imagine in the Roman times, where they cut all of this by hand and then rolled it down the mountain on wooden wheels. The things they managed to do back in those days is just simply amazing. Today, marble from this area is used for many products: tiles, countertops, art, and even toothpaste. So maybe you get a taste of this marble every time you brush your teeth. Now, Michelangelo visited these mines often to procure marble for his sculptures. The marble for the famous statue of David came from these mountains right here. Now, as we leave the area and drive towards our next destination, I have a pretty good feeling we'll be seeing a lot of the marble from this area. Well, we have switched drivers. We're about an hour into our 2-hour drive to our next spot. When we were pulling out this morning, the Google lady did what she is notorious for doing. Took us off the main road, put us on some teeny tiny little curvy narrow road going through neighborhoods and mountains. Sometimes it's a little scary when she does that. But this time it ended up being a really pretty drive through there. Seeing the terraces, seeing the neighborhoods, seeing a little bit more of what we like. And the road never did get too narrow. But every time she does that, there's always that fear of, oh no, is she taking us under some short bridge or down some one-way alley? She did okay today.
But we're skirting outside the city of Florence, Italy. And it's really pretty interesting drive through here, through the neighborhoods, through some of the commercial buildings, a lot of little motorcycles and scooters, a lot of tight roads, a lot of kind of crazy turns. And one thing they love in Europe is the roundabouts, and they're actually pretty efficient. 3 tons, 2.5 meter wide.
Jesus Christ. Am I okay over there?
You got 8 inches, you got a foot on this side. This right here is a little tight here.
Throw up.
You want me to drive? You're almost out of it. Close over here.
No seals over here.
You're almost out. Yeah. Right turn right here.
In 200 meters, turn left. Turn left.
Okay.
Yeah, but you got a big bump. Right there at that yield sign where you're going to be turning left.
Left here.
Yeah. Inch out, just easy, easy. No more. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Things got tense. Even G picks up on it. We ended up on a very narrow road, squeezed through there literally, and then we're headed to where we want to park and came up on a sign that said 3 meters height. We're 3.2, so I had a mini meltdown, which we weren't videoing, so y'all didn't get to see the mini meltdown, but they do happen sometimes when we're driving this big old van. So Curt has taken over driving. We have gone through this road with the Google map. We think we can make it under this tunnel up here as long as we stick to the middle. So y'all keep your fingers crossed. And then after that, we'll have to see what happens. But we're still 2.4 miles from where we're supposed to park, and it's been quite the adventure on these old narrow roads.
All right, that was a stressful culmination to our day's drive here to our camp spot. But we are at the train station here, And we did find a little place to snug in here. There's no parking signs right here. We're tugged against the fence. There's plenty of room to get in and out around us. Otherwise, the parking lot's pretty full. We assume this will probably clear out as the day goes on. But we plan to take the train down into Florence to have an amazing day exploring the city. But guess what, guys? We're gonna do that in the next episode. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn your notifications on, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys!